Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to episode 3, pros and cons of real estate. So with real estate, I mean, everything sounds great. It sounds like, it sounds like butterflies, and it sounds like flowers, and it looks great. And you hear about the vacations and the cars. You hear about that life.
Don't judge me, bro.
I'm about to tell you, your man.
Don't judge me. You hear about that life. I mean, some people on vacation right now. I'm not going to say who. I mean, but if you look at the backgrounds,
it changed a little bit.
My background ain't changed, man. My background ain't changed.
Yeah, but with
thank you for still making it to the recording, man.
Sure,
I appreciate it. I know you're on vacation.
Gotta do it. Sacrifice. You want to win.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you still making the podcast. It's not all vacations, and the Lamborghini cars and whatever you sold, right? It looks good. It sounds good for these, for the social media aspect of it. But guys, there's cons that come with it as well. There's a road to this. There is mud sometimes and stuff that you will have to face. And I want to start with the good today. I do want to go over the pros of real estate and have that as your foundation. And with that being said, I do want to start with you, DT. I know you're on vacation right now, so I'm not going to take up all your time today, but we're going to take up some of your time today.
Lies.
Can you give me some pros of being in real estate?
And don't name one being on vacation. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's his first point.
I'll narrow it down to maybe like 3 or something like that, because there's a lot, right? Real estate for me is life, but I'll get specific. Financial freedom. Real estate allows you to make several moves, be involved in several different portions of real estate in order to attain that financial freedom. You could be involved with rental properties. You can be involved with flips. You can be involved with the purchase and sale of properties and wholesaling, assigning. You can be an appraiser. You can be a mortgage broker. There's so many different aspects of real estate which will help you, obviously, to attain financial freedom. Or you can be involved with several of them at the same time. So that would be number one, financial freedom. Number 2 would be to be your own boss.
That's a good one, man.
Which is to me, it's always been a dream of mine to be my own boss. It's always been a dream of mine to write my own schedule, if you will, right? And this is something that I've been on my own now for about 3 years now, that I've been my own boss. I was able to quit my 9-to-5 that I had years and 401ks and all that good stuff invested in. And I got to a point, thank God, where I was able to leave my job and 100% an entrepreneur. Me and my wife are partners in everything we do, and now we're able to provide for our family, under our own companies. So that would be number 2, being my own boss, entrepreneur. Number 3 is, it's gonna sound cliche, but the opportunity to share the knowledge, the information, the experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. To really, and I always say this, you might have heard me say it before on a podcast. If I didn't need money to pay my bills and support my family, or money didn't mean, you do nicer things in life and support, who you're supposed to support and do what you're supposed to do in life, I would literally do this for free. I love what I do. It's really not a job for me. So
you mean spreading the education of real estate?
Okay. Yes, sir. Exactly. I would give advice. I would be the person to answer whatever calls I have to answer, hold your hand through whatever, support as much as I can, physically fix whatever I can for you if you need me to, if, priorities, family, money, and things like that didn't really matter. But so, to circle back, not to be long-winded though, thirdly, I would say, I love to share information. I love to give back, not to needy, because that's not the way I want to say it, but give back to where I come from. People who I was born and raised with, family members, friends, strangers, who may have heard, who ask a lot of questions, or who just inquire, and we go from there. So that would be the third thing. Those are the three pros for me in real estate. There's probably 20 or 30 more, but those are
Well, with your last one, you see a lot of comments. I'm sure you get a lot of people asking a lot of questions. So your dream will come true here. When you start reading through the comment section, 100%.
There's a time and place for that, though.
Yeah, you're right. But those are three good pros. You get to be your own boss. You can make your own schedule when you are your own boss. Financial freedom. You don't have to report to somebody, wake up and worry about being late for someone else. Worry about doing your job to not maybe the best of your ability, but the expectation of somebody else. Right. So you have that.
I got a couple myself.
All right, and I'll get to you, just Jerry. I get to you, sir. Listen, you're not on vacation right now.
Wow, this guy's a little testy today.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, he's not on vacation right now. I'll get to this guy first. We're on that vacation filter. So, so that, and once again, it's this giving of knowledge. That means a lot as well, because you've seen what it's done for you. Now,
I have nothing to say, sir. I don't have nothing to say, man. Next episode, I'll be on vacation.
Hey, you know what? I got a little 2 cents to add to that, right? Because
go ahead.
What I don't want people to see, because I know this is a pros and cons episode, right? So obviously it's easy to say, some things that go good. It's also easy to say things that go bad. But with being an entrepreneur, right? With having financial freedom, and with sharing information, like I said, there's a time and a place for it. Being able to write your own schedule doesn't mean that you sleep till 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's a good point.
Wake up, at 1, do what you want to do, go to work for an hour or 2, or miss a day or 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. Truth be told, being an entrepreneur is harder work than working for, somebody for a 9 to 5, because your success is based off of what you put out.
That's a great point.
You only get out what you put in. You know what I mean? That's one. That's kind of it's a con. Right? Sort of, kind of, but it's something I just want to make sure that I put to the forefront. Also, financial freedom, that comes with responsibility.
Absolutely.
If you only have so much in this bag and you're not responsible with that bag, your financial freedom could be out the window tomorrow.
Very true. There's really good points. There's really good points. Absolutely.
And then the third thing is, telling information, right? Telling too much information can have somebody take the food off your table. Giving things away for free, not just free, but giving the wrong information, can have people at your neck with lawyers.
Just Jerry, give me 3 pros.
I got a couple. I don't know if I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna give you I need at least 2. One being this could be a side hustle. You could go work your 9 to 5. It just be a side hustle, and this side hustle can make more than you make at a 9 to 5.
That's
but
a gem.
It has the potential. It has potential to do. It could give you freedom, like what Dan was saying, and it could bring you to another level. And that's the biggest gem that I'm gonna give you. You could do this as a side hustle and still make good money.
Absolutely.
Also, just to jump on DT, he said giving out the information. So we trying to break the cycle that people of our background to get or jump to the next level. And the information that we give for free, it helps get you guys to the next level. And that's what I really love about this, because Lance and DT knows I'm a straight shooter. I'm not missing. I'm not gonna give you the sugar coats. I'm gonna go straight forward, because I'd rather give you all the information up front, and you walk away from the information from us.
Absolutely.
But you're gonna walk away saying, "Hey, he gave me everything I needed to get to the next level."
Right.
And that's what we here for. I love that aspect of what we do here.
Yeah.
And financial freedom is big for me, man. Because I started at real estate as a side hustle, and it brought me to the next level. It brought me to a next level that I can even have a conversation at whatever time I want. Now, what Dan said is 100% correct. I can't walk around thinking I could get up at 5 o'clock and everything is going to be working for me. We got to put that work in. We got to put that extra step for us, for entrepreneurs. So I think it's just 100% a win-win situation when you get into real estate. So
if you guys hear what they're saying, is that it's a financial freedom is something that you guys, that was repetitive between both of you guys, and sharing information. And if you listen to our podcast, prior to this, you'll hear us say, the reason why we started this podcast, because we're talking to family members, we're talking to friends, and most people don't listen, or it falls on deaf ears, and it just, no one follows through with it. I mean, it's something that each of us have had an issue with. Right. So now we're bringing it to a bigger platform, and we're reaching out to the masses. Hopefully, we can help other people as well, and just be authentic.
Just to add to that as well.
Yeah.
From our background, nobody tells us anything about generating wealth from our background.
Generational wealth.
And that's
generational wealth.
Generation. Sorry. Nobody tells us about that. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest, because if we could get you to the next step from our background, that's we won.
That's the trophy, right? That's the Super Bowl trophy. That's what
I show up every night to tell you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that trophy to get you to the next level? We celebrating after that.
How satisfying is it to see? I don't want to go sidetrack, but it kind of coincides with our conversation. But how satisfying, and it's not on a pride or ego thing. It's more so just to say, wow, somebody finally listened to me. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely,
I was able to walk him through this, and I'm watching, the fruits of this man or this woman's labor. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example. The house that I'm in right now is the fruits of somebody following, my conversation. So they were able to do some things in their personal life, and buy a vacation home, in Puerto Rico. And now I'm in their vacation home with my family, enjoying a vacation, and the home that they bought, kind of following our steps and our lessons on how to get financially free. So
it doesn't get no better.
How does it not tie in?
It doesn't get no better than that.
Yeah. What a way to tie it in.
And you met the people that I deal with on a regular basis and mentor.
Yeah.
And how he feels or she feels on, hey, look, I just bought my second house. I'm buying my third, and it's paying my rent.
Can't wipe the smile off their face.
It.
Can't wipe.
And they love it. And you know what I tell them? Yeah. Get on the call with us, man. We're gonna talk some real estate again. Just be a fly on the wall and just soak it up.
Right.
We love it. We love it, man.
It's a big thing, man. I mean, what I love most about everything you said right there, Just Jerry, is the 9 to 5. There's a lot of people that are in such a rush to make $1 million the next day, right? They're like, I'm quitting my 9 to 5. I got 50,000 in the bank. I'm gonna go get it. And I love the mindset, right? I love the tenacity that they have.
You also love the mindset that that's a dream. That's not reality. I'll tell you that.
But a lot of people get, listen.
Well, it depends though. Somebody, if you, the one thing you did say there, it's a dream, right? So for me, at one time, it was a dream as well.
Oh,
most important thing is putting a plan together and executing that plan, putting the work in to then at one day for that to come to fruition and be reality.
But not right away, though. So, and I don't want to scare people with the number you just said with 13 years. So there are other people that do a lot quicker, and a lot of people do it at their own pace and slower.
You've been in real estate for 5 years, and you could say the same thing he's saying.
This is true, and it's true. And there's a lot that's going to be exposed. There's a different way that we buy than what DT buys. Some people may say the way we buy is more of a risk. Some people say yours more secure. Our money may be a little faster. Yours might be whatever it is. Your properties may appreciate. Ours may not. But we're definitely going to get into that stuff. And that's for another podcast, right? Or another episode of the podcast. But with the 9 to 5 thing, I do want to speak on that, because a lot of people, that excitement, that adrenaline, gets into people and they just jump, right? So you have people that double dutch all day, and they'll read a book, they'll buy a course. They'll do all that and they'll never make a move. And then you have somebody that goes in there blind and they jump and then they end up in a bad position. So because you have 60, 70,000 saved up, you're like, you know what, I'm going to go buy property. And then when you go get a mortgage loan, they start asking you how much you make, and you no longer have a salary. And now you can't get approved for what you thought you were going to get approved for, because now you have no source of income or nothing to show income. Now all of a sudden you're in a bind.
And several years of tax return, even if you have an income.
Right. So you had a job for 7 years that you held down that would have got you approved for a lot. But now that you quit for the last 6 months while you were looking for a property to make the right move, and then all of a sudden now you don't have the resources. So you have to plan this stuff out, guys. You have to be careful. This is not a commercial that you guys see. A lot of people get caught up. It's not a commercial where you quit your job, you find real estate, you quit your job the next day, you're on the beach the next week. Doesn't happen.
That bubble and that balloon you were floating on just popped.
Just bust. Somebody just bust
real quick.
Lance just bust that bubble.
So I've heard these stories, and
it's true.
It's just it's not what you want to do. And I hope with this podcast we can preach and show people, you can get it, but it doesn't come as fast as you think. Not that it comes slow, but it's not rapid fire. You will get there, but there's a grind unless you come into the game and like, hey, listen, I got $250,000 to spend right now. With our market and what we do with, you have $250,000 liquid, we can replace your income.
I would add to that would be, real estate is safe money, but slow money.
It's foundation money.
100%.
For sure. If you're someone that's an entrepreneur and you want to go ahead and expand. So these are all pros that we're speaking about now, right? You want to be, you're a go-getter and you're an entrepreneur and you need a foundation and you want to use as much time as you can to build other businesses. Use real estate as your foundation. Figure out how to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month in real estate. Then all of a sudden,
don't find it. We're gonna teach you.
I'm sorry.
Don't find it. We're gonna teach you. We're gonna definitely teach you.
I like that. So once you make $5,000 to $10,000 a month, there's definitely several ways. And that's a whole nother episode for sure. I don't want to run into another one because I just want to give everyone the pros and cons today. But once you get there, then you can start to branch out and try different things. And even if you lose at that new startup business that you're trying, you always have your foundation to fall back on, because it's residual. It's residual.
Talk that talk.
And I promise you, he's speaking from experience. Believe when I say that.
You can fall back on it. Oh, that didn't work.
Believe me.
Hey, hold on.
You get real estate as a foundation. You start thinking that you're a real businessman.
That didn't work.
That didn't work.
You want to try this one? Hold up. Control Alt Delete. That didn't work.
Whoop, gotta go.
So to full circle though, one thing tried and true, and this is, obviously in my life, my opinion, my philosophy and my experiences, you could say Control Alt Delete. That didn't work for several ventures, right? One thing you can never say is that real estate didn't work for you.
No. I disagree.
It can't. It's very hard though. But
I disagree because just like what Lance just said, you might be thinking, I have this, I got this, I got that. And real estate is not easy.
Oh, we're not making that claim.
You float, you fall right in your face, and now you're back to zero. You're back to zero again.
You did it wrong. You're 100% correct in what you're saying. I was specifying that to this chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. One thing we said that Control Alt Delete, that didn't work. What I'm saying is that neither one of us can say that real estate didn't work. Real estate didn't work. Any business venture you get into, it could be bulletproof. If you don't do it right, you'll fail, and it won't work. That's a fact, right? We know that. Maybe I didn't specify that, which I can see.
I apologize, vacation DT.
Oh, hey man. Hey, I held you down today, bro. I held you down.
That's right. You're right.
You almost came to the computer and tried to get smoked.
You're my guy, man.
I apologize, brother. I apologize.
But that's too funny. But a pro, those are a lot of pros. I think I kind of went into pros as well as I went off on a tangent there. But there's a lot of pros in real estate. Many that we didn't mention as well that I'm sure we'll hit on. Either throughout this podcast or just even listen to us. Period. You'll find those gems, right? But the other side of it, you just said, even if something's bulletproof and you don't do it correctly, it could fail. Right?
Absolutely.
100%.
Right. So with that being said, there are things that can make real estate hard and or even fail. Mm-hmm. And those would be the cons of this business.
Absolutely.
And because I'm going to do it again. And because you're on vacation, DT, I'm going to go ahead and start with you again.
Hey, I'm going to defer this question to Mr. Just Jerry.
Hey there, buddy.
I didn't know if you know he was on the phone, but he's there too, guys.
Yeah, he's there. I see him.
Buddy.
So just Jerry, if you can give me, all seriousness, if you can give me a few cons of the business, especially with this COVID stuff. I know, people have felt it. With that being said, what kind of cons could you give us?
I'll say one thing would be, if you don't take this real estate, it could be a non-business conversation, but if you don't take this real estate as serious as a real business, you would fold. If you think you're not going to pay your taxes on your house, if you think you're not going to keep the maintenance on that house, if you think your tenant,
if you don't vet them,
if your tenant doesn't pay, it's not going to hurt you. If you're doing this thinking everything is peachy, it's gonna bite you in your butt. And that's 100% correct.
Mm-hmm. All right, absolutely.
I also think cons. COVID is one of the conversations that would turn you away from real estate today.
And it's got to be mentioned. It's a reality now, right? So COVID has to be mentioned.
I would be lying to you if I tell you we're not going to talk about COVID.
Yeah, no, you'd be doing a disservice for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. COVID doesn't pay for a year and a half. Who you think is paying for that bill?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's Jerry. And I just want to throw that in there. That's the reason why I like multifamilies, because
it gives you a second shot.
It gives me a second shot to at least get my bills paid. If I'm not going to make money, I don't. Oh, absolutely. I know you are. I'm gonna be real about it. I know you guys gonna take digs at each other, but I don't want it to turn into a whole episode, because that episode, man, absolutely not.
I think that's an episode in itself. So
I'm not going as deep as that, sir. I just want to let you know it gives me a second shot for paying my bills, even if I don't make no money, no profit as of right now. It helps me pay for the bills that I accumulate when nobody pays the bills. And that hurts because if I was banking on that second half of that unit, now my life just turned around to the for the worse.
Right.
And that's a con, man. That's a con. You know, if you got 3 properties and you're living off of those 3 properties, and one doesn't decide to pay, what now? Right. So the guy, you have to plan this stuff out.
Yeah.
You really do. You really have to plan this stuff out and know when is the right time to go, okay, I don't need the 9 to 5 anymore.
Yep.
You know, I don't need that, you know,
Absolutely.
because even if half of my properties don't pay, you know, I can still live off of this. You know, I don't live past my means, or this will take care of all the bills. So all that stuff has to be a game plan. It's different for everyone, right? But it has to be there.
Yeah.
Right. So now, DT.
Yeah. Let me get one more.
Oh yeah,
let me get one more.
Absolutely, just Jerry. Absolutely.
And if you buy correctly, you wouldn't have these type of problems. But if you do not buy correctly,
DT is shaking his head down.
he just took one up.
Hey, you that tells you that we in the mud all the time. We know what we got to go through every day. It's maintenance, man. Because if you think you buy a property and something doesn't go wrong, and you don't have the money for it because you thought, hey, I put this much amount, I should be great. Something always goes wrong. Even if you, a matter of fact, I don't want to go into that. Maybe DT is going to tell you that, but I just want to let you know something always goes wrong. Yeah. I will tell you this right now. I'm gonna give an example, and I'm not gonna in debt, Lance. Yeah. We purchased a property. We tried to put some insurance on, and the house looks okay, decent. Everybody's we're up to code with CFOs. Everything's great. The insurance tells us we gotta change a window. What do you mean? Everything is up to code. We got our CFOs. We're great. The insurance is telling us, nah, that window got to change it. That's a $600, $800 bill. If we are in a situation, if you bought that house thinking that's the only thing you needed to do, you lose.
Keep in mind,
now you have an $800 bill that you can't pay for yet.
Keep in mind, you already dropped the bag on the repairs.
Absolutely.
For that house.
We buy property, even though we're the H.G.R.G family, we buy property differently. There's many ways to do it. So here we are.
And we buy property together. So, but if we're going to separate and we buying our own, we all pass it by to each other. Hey, yo, I got a property here. You want it? You don't want to get it? We get involved. If you don't, I like the property, I'm buying it. And that's how it goes. If everybody's on board, we all get one. We all get it. If not, I'm still buying it, brother, because I like it.
Too many gems. You guys too many gems. So that episode is gonna be it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a 6-hour episode. I can already tell you that now.
Right.
But let's stick on this as far as the cons go. DT, give us some of the cons in real estate.
Sorry, I took one.
No, you're good. I got. I'm
about to say that there's many of these.
You can't, right?
We can go for
take one, and I don't got at least 3. We got a problem, right? I ain't been doing it long enough. I gotta go back to the drawing board. I would say the biggest con in real estate is being misled. Not having this. It's all one. I'm gonna say a couple different things. It's all one point. Being misled, not having the right team, and not understanding the market you're in. Those 3 things right there are the biggest con, in my opinion. That's a mic dropper right there, right? If you have the right team, if you have the right market, and you have the right people in your corner, if you will, it's bulletproof, right? But if you have any of those not right, that's the biggest con in real estate. That's in my opinion.
You think it's a first round knockout?
Yeah, that's it. You got no shot of survival. No shot of survival.
Yeah, absolutely.
One way, someday soon you'll be
right.
underwater. Yeah,
if you don't have no boots on the ground,
yeah.
you could just call it quits.
Yeah. You gotta have a team. You gotta have a team. You gotta have a team, and you gotta have a team. And then did I say, did you have to have a team?
Did you say that?
Yeah, I think I said it.
Okay, all right.
So that's,
I didn't get that. What did you say?
There's this word, it's called team. It involves several parties. Yeah. So you gotta have a team. So the con is not having a good team, trustworthy team. I have personal experiences with investors who did not have that, and they're, over their head in bills, over their head in expenses, over their head just in the entire purchasing process. And they come and ask for like kind of a salvation for me to take them out of that. And I'm not a miracle worker, but I give them, like we talk about, I give them the right, the raw, the uncut, the ugly, the bad, the good, and everything in between. You know what I mean? And I can't even tell you how many times they come back and say, man, if I would have just had this in the beginning, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in. Matter of fact, I'd have double or triple the amounts of properties that I had, when I met you or whatnot. But not to go long-winded on that. So number one would be team. A bad team is the worst con, the biggest con in real estate.
And not to cut you off, because you never get to move. How can you move forward if you're always taking a step backwards with a bad team? Right?
Some people have enough money. In my experience, some people have enough money to not even realize that they're taking steps backwards because the money is not an issue, right? Mm-hmm. They're just acquiring numbers, they're acquiring properties, right? They're just putting money in a place, and they don't realize that the money that they put in that place was terrible money spent in a bad place. So several years later or months later, when they get bored and they check their account and realize that they've been taking negatives and negatives and negatives from this investment or these investments, that's when it draws their attention. And then they look back and say, hey, what's going on? And then obviously it goes back to, who'd you buy the properties from? Who was your team? What was the market sold to you that it was supposed to be performing at? Lies, and more lies. Okay, so how do you expect me to be a miracle worker and change that for you, unless we have a come to Jesus moment right now? Let me tell you really what this is. Right. Let me tell you what it's going to be in the future. And if you are, if you're up with that, then let's move forward in that direction. If you're not, then I'm sorry, I can't help you.
I want to add in, don't think your wealth is going to get you out of a bad situation.
No, it can make a bad situation worse.
Correct. I want to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Do not think you have all the money that my at the end of the game, my money's gonna win.
Yeah.
Not what a bad buy.
Right. Exactly.
Not what a bad
or
buy.
multiple bad buys. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
Right.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yep.
So that's a huge point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yep. What would be your second con?
So second, didn't I just say second con?
You were talking about the team.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right. So after the team, number two would be your realistic, non-realistic perspective. You watch a podcast. You pay for a seminar. You talk to somebody who who owned a house or something like that, and they give you these unrealistic realities that they sell you. The seminar will tell you, hey, you can buy a house with $0, and all you got to do is come to my seminar, pay this amount, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You go there, and they tell you or sell you what you perceive to be this great dream. Okay, not saying that it's full of it, because most of the people who do them are successful people. It's just the way you receive the information. It's like that game where they play in elementary school, telephone, right?
Yeah.
She's got a red dress on, and it goes throughout the line, and then the last person that hears it, you say, hey, tell me what the message was. She's got black shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So the way that they receive that information, so perception and how you receive information, and then you take that into this market or a market, whatever that market is, and you have zero clue. You just don't know what you're doing. I think that's the worst thing. That's the worst con in real estate. And I get that more than, I mean, we get that more than like, it happens almost every month, every other month. We get a person, hey, I got a property over here that I own, and or 10 properties that I own, and I would like, you know, help and try to get 12 or 13 properties. Okay, let me see, what are you doing with these 10? What does it look like? What's your mortgage? You know, what's your taxes? What's your insurance? You know, what's this, that? They're kind of find out this person doesn't have insurance, hasn't paid their taxes, doesn't pay the water bill, the utilities aren't turned on in their name on their multifamilies where there's a house meter. You know what I'm saying? So now we got to go through all of that. They got to start everything all over. So now when we run the numbers, and now it comes back, and they don't even, I got to pay a water bill. How much is that a month? How much is that a year? Is it quarterly? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't have an idea, but they went to a seminar and they received all this information, and the way that I'm not saying that what they heard is wrong. I'm just saying the way that they took it in, just all messed up.
Right. And I know somebody's watching this going, how do you not know to pay the water bill? Listen, this stuff slips through the cracks, man, because you probably thought that your tenant was supposed to pay it, not knowing that you're supposed to pay it.
Which you can do.
Which you can do. You got to write it in the contract, right?
Absolutely.
But you know, without
but if it's not in the contract, that bill is hefty after a couple months, brother.
of you not seeing it, or a year passes by and you didn't see it, and then you got to come out of pocket a few $1,000s for that water bill.
Especially if you live in a hot climate place where people have pools in their backyards and your rental properties, and washing cars in the driveway, or they want to run a hand car wash out of your house. You know, that water bill is a real thing. You know, insurance.
And I love that you bring that up, because I want, with this podcast, we want to be basic. I mean, we want to hit the basics to the most complicated, but even those basic things, when we're talking about water bills here on a podcast, you know, this is stuff that people need to know, that may have never done real estate, but once again, have 20, 30,000 in a bank account and they want to invest, but they've watched a million videos and still, you know, not one video or one podcast ever talked about water bills. Yeah. You know, it's a real, it's just the reality of it. Yeah. You know, it's the reality of it. And what would you, I didn't want to cut you off. And what would be another con that you see with real estate?
Third biggest con, and this is probably like my, you know, it goes side by side with my first biggest con, because this is going back to Jerry's point earlier, you know, where we come from, you know, our peers, even, you know, you can consider friends and family, but I'm just going to say peers, period, people your age, from your demographic, from your childhood neighborhoods or whatnot, all somehow, not all, for the most part, somehow, some way you see it, they suffer from it, we suffer from it, and it bothers me. And this is the biggest con that I see with people who look like me, walk like me, talk like me, act like me, and from around where I'm around. The fear of not doing it. Just the fear. Just the
first
fear.
step.
Yeah, just the fear. Why not us, man? Why not?
That is a con, man.
If
all of us, we could do it. If we did it, believe me, from our background, we come from where you come from. If we could do it and we aren't at this level, there's nowhere in hell that you can't get it.
And when I say fear, I'm not saying like, you know, tough guy. You know, it's not about, I'm saying just the courage, you know, to go to a bank and try to apply for a mortgage. The courage to, you know, walk inside of a house that it costs, you know, a number that you never thought you could spend on a house, and figure out how to get creative financing where maybe you could be in a position to buy it and do something with it. Not even something crazy, you know, you buy your first house, whatever it is, doesn't matter the numbers, you know, and you walk into an attorney's office and, you know, you talk to an attorney like we talk to each other. You know, I've been in closing with people who I've, you know, mentored or walked through it. And, you know, I'm talking about outside, they couldn't shut, like you said earlier, that you can't wipe the smile off their face, and they don't know how to shut up. Like, they got all these plans, which respectfully, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? So you walk into the attorney's office and you see, you know, a gentleman with a suit on, and he's an attorney. He's got the ESQ in front of his name. And now the person who was just outside jumping for joy is like a hermit. He don't even know how to talk. Like the attorney asked him a question. He looks at me and says, tell him I said, tell him that. I'm like, yo, he's right there. He's listening. He can hear you. Like, what do you mean? They're so intimidated by their you know, by their scholar. You're like, they're smart. Obviously, attorneys do not have a lot of information. They talk attorney languages. They got suits on, they're nice offices, beautiful, desks. They got the conference room with 1 million books back there with all types of law, and they just get intimidated and they freeze up.
Don't call your lawyer by his last name. Call him by his first name.
That's what I do. Yeah, Eric. That's what I told. So I tell him,
John.
This is my favorite.
John, yep, shout out to John.
This is my favorite. And, hey, I got a John too. Shout out to John and Eric. This is my 2 favorite guys. In real estate, they do a lot for me, and we do a lot for each other. So I take my favorite saying when we sit at the table. Hey man, do not fear that guy. He works for us. If he asks you, do you want a cup of water? Tell him, yeah, he's getting paid for that.
That's right.
You don't own him. He don't work for you like permanently, but right now, while he's in his office closing, he's under we're paying this bill.
And we want a lunch.
Yeah. And I expect, I don't want just a water out of the tap sink. I want a cold water, a bottled water cold. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want some Fiji or something like that. I don't want Wegmans water.
Shout out to Wegmans. Shout out to Wegmans.
I love Wegmans. Wegmans is the best thing ever. Matter of fact, when I was in Virginia, I seen they had a Wegmans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know y'all had Wegmans there. All right. But anyway, so that
he's just everywhere.
I didn't even say your name.
He's everywhere, huh?
You just put it out there.
He's everywhere, huh?
I could have just Jerry could have been in Virginia last week. Hey, we all do spiritually, right? The third kind of burns my heart, man, because it bothers me to see people who I know have the ability to do, anything their heart desires, but they just don't even take that opportunity. They just say, I've had conversations. Matter of fact, I got a guy who works with me, who works for our contracting company. He's an amazing painter, bro. Respect this man. He's dope guy. Does amazing work. And I was talking to him one day. I'm like, what do you want to do? And he was just like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm like, why are you selling yourself so short, man? You can own a painting company and have people working for you. Like, you don't have to always just be by yourself and just get, whatever house you're in and you're painting, that should not be your only income. You should be training somebody under you so that you learn them how to do the job. Now, while you're at this house, they're at that house. Now you pay him and you make money, and then you just keep repeating.
You duplicate yourself.
Right. And then eventually you'll be able to fall back and do some other things because he has some other plans and stuff like that. And his real story was just like, nah, man, I'm just good painting one house at a time, man. And I respect it, but it's just that, he closed-minded. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to.
Everybody is able to receive it.
100%.
Not everybody's able to receive it.
But guys, and this is why I keep bringing up this podcast. If people notice and you understand the episode that you're watching, this is something that we decided to get together and do as well. And we're telling people to jump. We jumped when it came to starting a podcast. So we're not only preaching it.
We still jumping.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not only preaching it, we're living it. All right. And that's why you if you listen to us closely, we're still stuck on the, man, we told them this and we told them that. We reach out to this one is because we haven't really reached the masses yet, which we're here for. And eventually you'll hear the language change, once that develops, which we do believe it will develop, and that's what we're here for.
Respectfully though, and I don't know if I don't think you were saying this in a whole, but, we haven't reached the masses, but, I think the origin of this content, the origin of this podcast comes from the fact that we've all reached a couple, right? And the thrill and the fact that that what you've reached out with, the information that you shared, the mentorship that you've given, or that you've received, right? Because not only have we given, but we've also received it from somebody. So we learned what we learned from somebody, right? So kind of recycling that full circle, just because we haven't, and I'm not saying you were saying this, but because we haven't reached the masses doesn't mean that, we can't. It's just that we've never tried. Now we're trying.
Well, I mean, well put. So, but with that being said, so you've heard some of the pros. I will give you some of the cons for me.
Yeah, you weren't going to get away. I wasn't going to let you get away. I want to hear something.
I would tell you this. You said it once. I do want to piggyback the team. The team is important. The team is important, man.
Which one are you doing? Pros first and then cons? Or are you kind of just
this is no, not having. Did I not say no? I went with the pros already. I started.
Oh, okay.
Going off on a tangent.
Okay.
It's okay. But the cons would be, the team. If you don't have that team, like you were saying, I mean, You can really get hurt out here. And the cons, I guess I'll be a little more basic. A con is you're not getting paid. I mean, there you are going to get that. The more you own and the more you deal with it and the more you're in the game, there's going to be a nightmare tenant that you're going to have to evict, which is, which sucks, honestly, because you got to evict somebody, you got to throw somebody out, and it's just the thing that they don't talk about. There is another family on the other side of it, but this is also a business and you have to survive. You're doing it for your well-being as well. So that part of it sucks. That's a con to me. Has it happened much to me? No. But has it happened? Yes. But I also have to survive. I have bills I have to pay. And if you can't pay it for whatever it may be, this relationship just isn't working. And we both have to go our separate ways. And that's a big con, but it's a necessary con. That's something that's not spoken about a lot, or not from what I hear. So I did want to put that out there, because you want to get paid. You don't want to kick somebody out. There's fees that come with that. Even on your side, not only are you losing money, now you got to pay to get them out. You see, so it's layers to it. There's layers to it. Another con is. Another con in real estate, man. It's trusting people. You have to develop. You're gonna go through a lot of people. You're gonna go through management companies. You can go through attorneys. You're gonna go through a lot of, and that goes back to the team still. I want to try to not jump on it, but that's kind of what it is with real estate. You need people. You have other people collecting rent for you, your management company, right? So if you can't trust them, or if they're not doing a good job, ultimately, you're the one footing the bill for that. So it's a big con, in my eyes. But beyond that, I think we covered a lot. We hit a lot of pros in there, a lot of cons, both sides of the coin. I wish I could give you more cons. For me, I know that there's a lot, but I try to give you personal experience, not just what I hear. And that would be eviction. That would be a team having to build that. That would be having fire management companies, fire attorneys. You were just saying that, you can have an attorney that's very decorated. You walk into their office and you see a plaque, you say, bye. Have we not had to do it? We've had to fire attorneys. Someone has a higher education than what I'll ever have. Yeah. And I told you got to go away. Yeah. Because it's my money. It's my business. So like you were saying, if you wake up at 5 p.m. and you think this thing is just going to run itself, it's not. Is it hands-on every single minute of the day? No.
It depends.
Or it depends on what you do. Right. But if you're talking about buying, holding, we're talking about collecting rent and stuff like that. No, you're depending on other people, but you're supervising all this.
Right.
You're the supervisor. You're the boss.
You're either micromanaging or macromanaging. One of the other.
It's no matter what, management is still in there.
Right.
And that's what you got to take care of. You got to take care of your baby. Nobody's going to take care of your baby like you. Mm-hmm. And we've experienced that. The reason why just Jerry tells you, don't wake up at 5 o'clock and things gonna run itself, because we've loosened up the grip before and went, oh no, this is not going right. We gotta step back in. Yeah. You see, so
you brought your baby to a daycare, thinking that I can leave this baby here while I go to work, and then when I get out of work, I'll get my baby back from the daycare. But then little by little, your baby started coming back and telling you some stories that you ain't like. So now you got to take your baby out of that daycare.
That's it.
And find, a close friend of the family or somebody who is established and trusted, so that even then you're going to be hesitant about leaving your baby with them, but they come with a good, reference and all that good stuff. So now, but at the end of the day, you always want to have your eyes and your ears, glued to wherever that baby's at. Make sure that baby's going to be.
I don't want you guys to be discouraged from buying in real estate because of the cons. Just know that this is a $1 billion industry. industry. Sorry,
$497.6 billion. It'll be just the United States of America. Real estate.
So that
will be worth
those numbers
in the U.S. in 2021.
Those numbers.
He's on Google right now.
But I just want you to know that at the end goal, yes, there's cons, but that pros outweighs the cons
all day,
99% of the times.
All day.
So
all day.
That 1% is very low. That 99%, please.
Yeah.
Jump
and
on real estate.
People who are watching, people who are listening, people who are in tune with the industry, tune with the markets. They know. Most. Lance said it one time in one of our other podcasts. Any successful millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, somehow, some way, not trillionaire, but billionaire, has their hands tied in real estate, one shape, form, or fashion. So I mean, absolutely. That'll tell you, everything in a nutshell, right? You know what I'm saying? People who are, a wise man once told me, you want money, hang around money. You want to be a lawyer, hang around lawyers. You want to be a basketball player, go hang around basketball players. You want to sell real estate, hang around people who sell real estate. You want to be involved with real estate, hang around with people who are involved with real estate. H.G.R.G is who you need to be around because we're involved with real estate.
H.G.R.G, man. Yeah. So I think that was
lastly, I want to throw out the last con. The COVID we already spoke about, right? The government and how they've affected, and I'm not politically going nowhere with it. I'm just saying in general for investors, for owners, throughout this COVID. We're not just talking about the fact that tenants haven't paid in 18 months, 20-something months. The way that the moratoriums were put in place, the rent relief was put in place, the stimulus packages were put in place, rightfully so. That's the government. That's what they do. That's way beyond my pay grade. But for owners, there was zero done to help owners get out of these holes for almost 2 years of mortgage payments, insurance bills, water bills, utility bills, increase in mortgages, landscaping, utilities, water heaters that are breaking, for all the repairs that still have to be done with the property, still got to be done, even though your tenant hasn't paid for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So expenses have just piled on. And the government did absolutely nothing for any owners with those.
So
I laugh. So let me cut you in. I laugh because we have a tenant that hasn't paid for a year and a half and calls about maintenance about the house damn near every other month.
And do you do it?
And we still do it knowing, oh my God, it hurts me.
Because when they leave,
knowing we're never going to get a rent by her.
Not only that, but legally you have to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I mean, I get it. I totally
every time I see it. I go, oh, here's Betty again.
Right.
Betty's coming.
So I was reading today that $2.6 trillion were allocated to rental assistance. Mm-hmm. I think it was over 90%, and I'm not going to quote. I think it was over 90% of it was not used. So what they didn't do, when I say they, I mean the government. What they didn't do was allow us to somehow, some way, reach that cash without a tenant. A tenant is the one that had to go ahead and initiate it, sign the paperwork, and then we agreed to it as well.
The owners. Or the owner
can initiate it,
or the tenant
can initiate it. But both parties have to be involved.
You can't execute that plan without the tenant. The tenant can do it without you.
Right, but we can't do it without the tenant. So we have no power ultimately. Zero power. So the money is even there for them.
It's even crazier.
What's the background?
Let's get even crazy. So our management company has they sent out a mass email to all the tenants in their Rolodex, right? They offered them, the management company offered the tenants to come to their office use their printers, their internet, their because some of the tenants don't know how to read and write.
Just offer them their space.
Offer them everything, the stamps, the envelopes, everything they need to help them fill out the application.
Let me help you.
How can I help you? Is essentially what the management company did. Let's just say less than 10%. I would say probably around, I think it's 5 or 6% of the tenants that are in need that have a balance higher than $1,000. Less than 5% of them took advantage of even a phone call, let alone actually going to the office and utilizing. So the management company is now knocking on doors with the applications and sitting in their houses and helping them. And that still isn't working. They still aren't letting them in, but just, give it up. But I just wanted to throw that con out there because, it's, not to get political with it, but, as an owner, as an investor, we had a conversation, I think the last podcast, is now the time to buy? Absolutely, for sure. But part of that, is this as well. So, if you, I just wanted to throw that out there because
know your owner's rights, know your state laws.
Yeah.
Know how hard it is or how easy it is to evict somebody. All that stuff counts, man. Like I said, you got to come in with a game plan. You just jump, you're doing a disservice to yourself.
Yeah.
Just circling back. Respect this as a business. That's all I want to say. Respect this as a business. This is a business that you're going into.
Yeah, and eventually your livelihood.
Correct.
And eventually your livelihood. Listen, guys, I appreciate all the input, all the pros and cons of real estate. Once again, I think it was another great episode, very informative, and we'll see you guys next time. H.G.R.G.
What they say? I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.